You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 94. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from Educalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
Hello there and welcome. We are so excited to have you here with us today because we are going to be sharing how to use our brand new free mindfulness resource for the classroom that has been developed over time, perfected, and we're so excited to share it with you. Before we get into that though, we want to share today's sponsor, which is Breathe for Change. Educators, do you care deeply about wellness, equity, and social emotional learning? Do you want to gain tools to enhance your own and your students' well-being? If so, then you have to check out Breathe for Change. Breathe for Change is a movement to enhance the health and well-being of teachers, students, and entire school communities. They offer the world's only 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training specifically for educators. And they partner with schools, districts, and organizations to enhance community-wide well-being. Their work is absolutely life-changing. Breathe for Change is across the US, and applications for their 2020 yoga teacher trainings are now open. Through the training, you'll be equipped and empowered to enhance your own well-being and integrate mindfulness and social emotional learning into your classroom and community. Upon graduating their flagship training, you'll be eligible to receive 2 certifications: the internationally recognized Yoga Alliance 200-hour yoga teacher certification and Breathe for Change's Wellness Champion certification. If you are committed to using wellness as a vehicle for social change and want to join an incredible community of thousands of like-minded leaders, then join the Breathe for Change movement and check out the trainings near you at www.breatheforchange.com/balanced. Again, that's breatheforchange.com/balanced. All right, let's get into it. So, we have launched our brand new website, and we're so excited to share it with you guys.
We can't even contain ourselves.
If you haven't checked it out, please do educalm.com, because we have poured our hearts, souls, and many hours.
Blood, sweat, and tears almost even.
There were definitely a few tears. But what we're so excited about this new iteration of our website is that it is based on the feedback that we've gotten from you, our community of mindful educators. So when we launched the first version of our website, which we say now is our beta version, it was like the test version of our website, our program was what we wanted for our own classrooms. It was that program that we had been searching for that we just couldn't find, so we decided we'd make it ourselves. But now, after having this program running for 2 years, we have been collecting data. So we've been asking users to give us monthly feedback about the program so that we could edit it, improve it, and make it not just what we saw was needed in our classrooms, but also that it was filling the need for other teachers in their classrooms as well.
Our community is so amazing, and we got so many great ideas from you, our community. Thank you.
Yes. It's been so helpful and makes us so proud, because now it isn't just the program that we wanted, it's the program that this community has been asking us for. So through all the workshops I've done in schools, through all the feedback we've gotten from our ambassadors, through the emails that you guys have sent us with questions, through the things that you've asked us on Instagram and Facebook, all of that has come together to help us to create this program, this resource that's going to help you and your students to thrive in a calm learning atmosphere.
So amazing. We're so excited.
So another thing that we love about our new website is now it's really easy for you to try out our program for free. So when you go to our website, educalm.com, you just have to click on free trial. And once you sign up, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to see our whole program, all the themes that are in our year-long program. But you'll only be able to access and actually use the first theme. Now, in this first theme, it's the first theme you're supposed to use. So the beautiful thing about it is you get training for you and resources for you, the teacher, to be able to easily get this program started in your classroom.
And I just want to add to that it's an unlimited how do you
free
say
trial.
that? Like you get to use it over and over again for years to come. So it's not like a lot of programs where once you log in, you have like 7 days or something. This is not how this works. You actually will have access for always, as long as you
want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll have that training for yourself, and then you also have the resource to use in your classroom. So it's the first unit of our full year program that you're going to have access to forever, that you can use for as long as you'd like. So it's designed to be used for 4 to 5 weeks, but you can continue using it for longer if you'd like. But we bet that you're probably going to be like us and be ready and excited for the next units and the next themes that we have for you. So in this episode, we want to explain to you how to use this free trial so that you can go into your classroom and get started using it right away.
No prep. No. Best part. For sure, the best part.
Absolutely.
We know teachers don't have the time.
Exactly.
Because we're teachers.
Which was our frustration of why we ended up creating this program, because we're like, we want to teach mindfulness in our classrooms, but we don't necessarily have the time to create a curriculum. So we stepped away from the classroom to do that for you guys.
And ourselves.
And
went back to the classroom and used it.
Yes, exactly. So Educalm Classroom is a bilingual social emotional learning program that teaches students self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-regulation through a daily guided mindfulness program.
And just to clarify, bilingual French and English.
Mm-hmm. So this program will help you and your students find calm during our busy, often hectic school days.
Yep.
And your students will learn to manage your emotions mindfully, which will help you both to thrive in a calm learning atmosphere. We get a lot of feedback that this program isn't just helping the students, but so many teachers say, wow, I didn't realize how much I needed this for myself.
Yes.
And they tell us that they feel like they've become better teachers because they're so much more calm. They are learning to manage their emotions, and therefore they're able to be more compassionate and patient with their students.
And just the fact that they too get to start the day without it feeling chaotic, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few minutes just to, okay, I got this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not much of a morning person. So sometimes I rush into the classroom.
Struggle is real for me.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily feel ready to start my day until I've had that Educalm practice with my students. So mindfulness, in case you're not sure exactly what that is, it's the practice of paying attention to the present moment on purpose. So this is actually a skill that's developed through practice and repetition.
Repetition.
Yes, lots of repetition. It takes a lot of time to tame that squirrely brain. But with practice, you'll get there. So in school, we take time every day to explicitly teach our students to read. And we use various methods, and we do lots of repetition and practice before we expect our students to be able to actually read independently.
And on top of that, it takes many years, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a process.
So the same is necessary with mindfulness. So if we want our students to be able to manage their emotions and self-regulate independently, we have to teach them how to do so. And we can do that with a daily mindfulness practice. So they're developing that skill over time. So our program, Educalm Classroom, is intended to be a daily practice, and we provide everything you'll need to do this with no prep, as we said. Just as we don't expect our students to learn to read after only one lesson, we also can't expect them to master mindfulness right away. Practice and repetition are the key ingredients here.
Routine, creating that routine around it.
Yes. With a daily practice, you'll notice that you spend so much less time during the day putting out fires and you have way more time for academics.
Yes. And Kay, we have so many testimonials to prove this, but in my own classroom, what a difference. What a difference.
Yes.
To have those tools and strategies.
The transitions are smoother. You can get them to refocus faster. When the energy gets really high, you're able to calm them down more easily and more quickly. It's amazing how much time we've gained back. And actually, interestingly enough, we surveyed our Educalm ambassadors and asked them if Educalm Classroom helps them to save time in their day. And all of them explained that it did, because either they save time by the fact that this program is zero prep, or they went into detail telling us about how much smoother transitions are and how much farther they've been getting with the academics this year by using the program than they had in previous years, just because their students are learning the skills that they need to be able to be great learners.
Yeah, and to focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hard in this day and age. We've got a lot going on. Like the world is moving faster and faster, and we actually need to teach ourselves and our students to be able to focus on one thing at a time.
It's not an easy feat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you go to our website, educalm.com, you just have to sign in. And then you're going to get into your member area. So once you've signed up for that free trial, you'll be in your member area. Now, the beautiful thing about our website is we are French immersion teachers, so we needed a program that was bilingual, and we have lots of our users that love the fact that our program is bilingual. Now, we've made it even easier to use both languages on our new website. You just have to click on the French or the English button at the top corner, and you can switch languages from any page on our website.
And so the content is the same in both languages. Mm-hmm. So if it's like the first audio of one unit or whatever, it'll be the same thing in the other language.
Mm-hmm. So it's really easy. We have a lot of teachers that teach in a French immersion setting that like to use both languages with their students, especially in the younger grades. So they love that it's such a direct translation. So the students are better able to make those connections. So once you're in your member area, you'll see that Educalm Classroom is organized by themes. So with the free trial, you'll have access to the Start Here theme. If you sign up for a full membership to Educalm Classroom, you'll have access to all the themes and all the units within those themes, which means you'll have a mindfulness lesson for every single day of the school year ready to go.
And what are some of the themes here we're talking about?
So we have mindfulness is one of the themes. We have 2 units in there. We have a theme called kindness and compassion, which we get a lot of positive feedback on. We get a lot of positive feedback on all of them, but that one really helps to develop a strong and positive classroom culture.
Gratitude as well.
Yes.
Which along the lines of kindness and compassion, right?
We have growth mindset. So there's 2 units in the growth mindset theme.
Emotions.
So it helps students to understand their emotions and then also to gain skills, mindfulness skills like breathing skills, thinking skills, movement skills, to be able to manage their emotions when they're having big emotions.
And more. There's a lot more in there.
We also, this is one thing that's new. There's lots of new things, but this is one fun thing. We had a lot of teachers asking, hey, could you have a couple meditations for me when I'm having a crazy day? So we actually have a section in there too that's called For Teachers, and it's all meditations, mindfulness practices that are just for you teachers when you're having a crazy day and you need a reset.
And teachers also asked us for some mindful movement. So there's also some videos in there.
Mm-hmm. Those are really great for when your students need some movement. They've been sitting for a long time.
Oh, brain break.
Yes. We get a lot of positive feedback on that one too. So in your member area, when you click on the Start Here theme, you'll see inside of there that there's 2 tabs. So on the left tab, it's all material to help you, the teacher. So there's a video in there that gives you training on what mindfulness is, how to teach it in your classroom using our program, and gives you detailed training on how to set up the practice, how to manage it with your students, how to introduce it to them. So that one is called the Educalm Success Plan, and it's going to walk you through the 5 steps of starting this in your classroom. So really easy to follow training. Then you'll also see in that area that there's a worksheet that helps you to plan as you're watching that video.
And I think it's worth mentioning that the video is about, I think it's 35 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's a little bit long. It takes a bit of time, but it will like get you fully ready to go. Like all of the information is there. And so I think watching that success plan video is just so worth it, because then you're like, you're fully equipped. You don't need to do any more research, nothing. Like it's all there in the video. And from there on, you can just go.
Yeah. And then it removes a lot of the trial and error that you'd have to do on your own, because we talk about some issues that might come up, how to manage those issues, how to like have the forethought before getting into that. So we tell you how to set it up in a way that is going to help you to have the most success based on our experience in the classroom and also hundreds of other teachers that have used this program.
Yeah, like we actually just took questions that we've been receiving over the last few years from teachers using our program, and we're basically answering them, but in a very systematic way that's step by step.
Exactly.
Worth the watch.
Definitely worth it. And another thing too to mention about that, we often have schools that they start using this program all together. So this is a great video to watch together at
like a professional development or professional learning day or whatever.
Exactly. Or a staff meeting or something like that. So it's essentially free training. It's the training that I give when I go in person to schools, just boiled down a little bit so that it's like having us in your school delivering the training, but you get it for free as part of the free trial. So it's really setting you up for success. So you can watch it in your own classroom alone, or have a little learning party with your colleagues that also want to do Educalm at the same time, and you can all learn it together.
Yeah, great launching point for discussion afterwards as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're doing it as a school team.
So there's a few more things in that left-hand side training tab for teachers, but we'll get into those a little bit deeper in a little bit as we walk through kind of how you're going to set this practice up in your classroom. So we divide this into the before, the planning phase. So what you need to do kind of before you actually bring this with your students, the during, the practice phase. So what it's going to actually look like when you're doing this with your students, and then after, the reflection phase. So we'll get started with the before so you can plan and set your students up for success. So step 1 of the before phase is going to be to consider if you want to share with your students' parents or not that you'll be using Educalm Classroom in your classroom. So this is a completely optional step, and it's up to you to decide if it'll be beneficial to share about Educalm Classroom with parents or guardians.
This like really depends on the culture of the school, what type of community you live in, how mindfulness is perceived, or social emotional learning, all of that, right? So there's a couple factors to consider there.
Yeah. So we have some teachers that decide they want to share this with parents just so that parents know what's going on in the classroom, because they really like to have that communication. We have lots of teachers that don't communicate with parents. Totally up to you to decide what you feel is right for you. But one thing that's really important to note is that parents get really excited that the teachers of their children are supporting their social emotional learning. Generally, and like overwhelmingly, parents get very, very happy and have lots of positive feedback about this.
On that note, I'm just pulling up a testimonial here that just made me so happy. Michelle, a library media specialist in one of the schools that our program is in. She said, one of our second graders fell on the playground and broke his arm. His parents had him in the ER and he was crying and in a lot of pain. He was trying to calm himself down and his parents noticed he was doing something and they weren't sure what he was doing. So they asked and he said, I'm doing my mindfulness. So he was breathing and he was trying to calm himself down.
That's amazing. And we get lots of stories like that of parents that just see their students using the mindfulness skills they've been learning through their Educalm classroom practice and are just amazed and so happy that their child has strategies to support them.
Well, they are often learning from their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Is often what happens.
Yes. We also get lots of stories of parents that say that, you know, when they were really upset or overwhelmed, their child said to them, hey, mom or dad, let's do some calm breathing together. Let's do 5-finger breathing. It'll help you to calm down. And the parents always appreciate that.
So true.
So if you want to share that you're using Educalm Classroom in your classroom with parents, we actually have a letter for you that's typed up, ready to use, that you can copy, you can edit it a little bit.
Whatever you want.
Do whatever you want to be able to easily share with the parents of your students that you're using Educalm Classroom. So it'll help you to like know what language and vocabulary to use and how to talk about this.
And that's in the Start Here theme that we were talking about. Yeah. That's all there for you in the free trial.
Exactly. So once you've decided if you're going to communicate with parents or not, the next step, step 2, is going to be to actually add 5 to 10 minutes for Educalm Classroom to your daily schedule so that both you and your students are going to see it as part of the daily routine. So a really great time to do the practice is that at the beginning of your time with your students. So for elementary school teachers that are with their students all day, first thing in the morning, right after the morning announcements and national anthem is perfect. It's a great time. It can just easily be slid into that morning routine. Doing the Educalm practice in the morning helps everyone to start the day in a calm and focused state, and it prepares students' brains for learning. For middle school, high school, and specialist teachers that see their students for a period and then get a new group of students for the next period, the first 5 to 10 minutes of class time is the best time for Educalm. If your schedule doesn't fit these suggestions, though, just choose whatever other option you'd be able to keep consistent.
Yeah, one of our ambassadors is a phys ed teacher, and she uses it at the end of class so that the students are ready to calm down and get ready to do academic. Well, I mean, phys ed is academics, obviously, yeah. But to do the sit-down work.
And I've heard that the teachers in that school, classroom teachers, really appreciate that their students come back to class calm instead of all chaos from having done their phys ed class. Yeah. So other options, some teachers do their practice right after recess or lunch, anytime that you want to get your students to refocus, calm them down, and help their brain be ready to learn. And we have lots of teachers also that use Educalm more than once per day because they find that they can get so much more done, and classroom management is much easier when they start with an Educalm practice to calm students down and get their brains focused and ready to learn. So the key really is repetition. So when Educalm is on your schedule, both you and your students will know when to expect it, and it's just going to become part of the daily routine. As you're first starting this, it might take a little bit of extra time to build that routine with your students, just like anything that you do in the classroom.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect at the beginning.
But once, if you just keep going with it, just like anything in the classroom, over time, students get ready and used to that routine, and the transitions are smoother and easier, and it helps your day to run more calmly, more focused.
Yes. And typically the kids love that time. And if they don't get it for some reason, like because there's an activity or something, they're sad about it. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Students recognize pretty quickly that Educalm really helps them to feel better and be ready for learning. So once you've decided when during your day you're going to do this practice, we're ready for step 3. So step 3 of the before phase is to explain to your students why this practice will be beneficial to them so that they have that buy-in, so that they understand the purpose. So you have to set clear expectations for when you're listening to the guided audios so that they know how to have success. So most students have never done mindfulness before, so they literally have zero idea of how it should look or what it should be like. So you have to give them that initial explanation just so that they know what they need to do to have success. So the explanation of why you're doing Educalm can be as simple as saying, we're going to be doing this practice to create a calm and focused learning atmosphere. Or maybe you'll want to say something like, this practice is going to help you get your brain ready for learning. Or you can go deeper, as I like to do, and tell a story to your students about why you decided to do this practice in the classroom. So I really like to explain that mindfulness personally helps me to feel calm when I'm feeling big emotions like stress, frustration, or anger, and that I want to share this practice with them so that they too can learn how to manage big emotions in a healthy way.
And also, we have a lesson plan that's created for you in the Start Here section. But if you want to learn exactly how to introduce mindfulness, like if you want to go a little deeper than just saying kind of what you just explained, you can listen to episode 81 of the Balanced Educator podcast. And we teach you exactly how to introduce mindfulness in the classroom for the first time. So it's like we're going through that lesson plan that is in the Start Here section. But we're just saying it to you instead of you having to read it.
Exactly. So a couple ways of you finding that lesson plan and deciding how you want to introduce mindfulness to your students. So once you've explained the why of Educalm to your students, then make the expectations for how the practice should run very clear. So before you start listening to the audios with them, set clear expectations for what it should look like, sound like, and feel like. So you can use like a why chart or however you want to present this information. I like to say it should look like everyone's following along with what the audio is saying. It should sound quiet so that everyone can hear the audio, and it should feel calm and relaxed in the classroom.
And one rule that I personally really like to establish from the beginning is that especially in the middle school years, is that, okay, if you don't want to participate, that's totally fine at the beginning. They'll participate anyway. They always do. But that they respect other people who do want that practice, who do want that time. So just keeping your hands and body to yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. Those middle school aged kids are so funny. They want to play it cool, right? Yeah. So pretty much any new thing you introduce in the classroom, there's going to be a couple that want to seem cool and they're usually
the ones at the end, like within a couple weeks, that are the ones who want the practice and recognize they need it.
Exactly. Yeah. So don't feel discouraged if middle school kids don't seem totally on board from day one. Over time, they're going to see that the benefits, it's really useful for them. Especially in middle school when you have so many big emotions. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I was the worst version of myself in middle school.
I remember those days. I was also too cool.
Yeah. But the beautiful thing when you give them that kind of out of saying, well, even if you don't want to participate, that's fine. Just stay quiet so that others can participate. Then, like you said, they're participating anyway. They're listening to the audio. Yeah. They're in the room. Yeah. So they can, but it helps them to think that, oh, I'm not participating, even if they actually are.
It still has a positive impact at the end.
Exactly. At the end of the practice, everyone in the classroom has calmed down and is more ready for learning. So now that we've done all that planning, we have everything set up in our schedule and with our students, they know the expectations, we're ready to actually start practicing with them. So now we're into the during phase. So this is where you'll be listening to the audios with your students. So decide where and how your students will sit. There's no right or wrong way to sit. You just have to choose what's going to help your students to have success. So will it work for your particular group of students to sit at their tables? Or will it be best to sit on a circle on the floor? Or is it best to just choose their own spot somewhere in the class? It's totally up to you to figure out what's going to work best for your students to have success in listening to and following along with the audios with minimal distractions. So Be sure also to differentiate expectations based on specific student needs. So some students are going to need extra supports like a rocking chair or a cushion, or maybe all of your class is sitting at their desks, but one or two students sits on the carpet or lies down on the carpet, or has alternate seating. Maybe some of your students are going to have fidgets that they're going to play with that are quiet and not going to disturb the others. The goal here isn't about everyone sitting completely still and quiet.
Which is probably not going to happen.
No, they're little kids.
Realistically.
Yeah.
Like.
Even in a room of adults, not everyone closes their eyes. Not everyone
it's true.
Is completely like, there's usually a couple that are kind of fidgeting a little bit. Mindfulness is really hard at first. You're being asked to sit still, listen, and direct your mind's attention. It's a really tough task. So it takes time and practice to be able to do it successfully. So your role as the teacher is to figure out how you can best support your students as they're doing this challenging task. So how they're going to sit is going to be up to you, and you know your students best. And from group to group and from age to age, this is going to look different in all different classrooms.
And in my class, like all the classes I've taught, it was always different from year to year.
Yeah.
And even sometimes from month to month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you like some months are just more difficult in the classroom.
Yeah. And sometimes, like when I've done this in middle school, in the beginning, we're all sitting at our desks, and then over time, they kind of get restless and bored of that. So to switch it up, I would do, on Fridays, you get to choose your own spot in the class, which we didn't do every day because that would create chaos. But, it gave them like something special to keep it fresh and exciting for them. So again, keeping in mind that your job as the teacher is to support them so that they can have the most success in doing this challenging thing of sitting still and paying attention to their thinking. Now, another really important thing to do when you're listening to the audios is to participate with them. So while you listen to the audios, you'll need to model the practice and follow along with the audio. Since this is new for your students, they're going to be looking to you and mirroring how you practice. This practice is important for you too. You deal with so many things on your plate during the day, and this practice should also be a time for you to feel more calm so that you're ready to be your most awesome teacher self.
Like we said, teachers, like this is one of their favorite parts
of
after a while.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh my goodness, it's just so nice to have a few minutes.
So it's also just really important that students see that mindfulness supports everyone at all ages. I think there's a lot more buy-in from the students when they recognize that, oh, this isn't just like a silly thing we need to do for school. This is actually something that's going to support me in my life. This is something that adults do, just like kids need to see adults reading and modeling what it means to be a reader. We need to model to our students what it means to practice mindfulness and how it should look.
Children are a mirror of us.
Exactly. So with your free trial, you're going to have access to the first unit of Educalm Classroom, which is Introduction to Mindfulness. Each unit in Educalm Classroom is meant to last 4 to 5 weeks, and how you use the audios will depend on your student's age. So for younger grades, about kindergarten to grade 3 or 4, you'll want to listen to audio 1 for a whole week. Then on week 2, listen to audio 2, and so on and so forth. With the older students, so about grade 7 and up, you'll want to listen to audio 1 on Monday, audio 2 on Tuesday, and move through to the end of the week. Then you'll repeat that for 4 to 5 weeks. Now, with middle years, you can go in either direction. It really depends on your group. So you'll have to choose the option that you think will work best with your group. And of course, don't be afraid to switch it up. Because they're in those middle years, we have some groups that are just a little more mature for their age, some that are less mature for their age. So maybe you notice that listening to the same audio for a full week works for a while, and then they start getting bored of that, and you want to switch it up and do a different audio every day.
And like what I would do last year was we would do with my co-teacher, we would do audio 1 2 days in a row, and then audio 2 2 days in a row, audio 3, and then start over again. Mm-hmm. So that's like even more, like it's different than what you just mentioned, but it worked really well.
Exactly. And then just keeping in mind that no matter how you listen to the audios, you want to be repeating them. It's very important to be doing this for 4 to 5 weeks because that repetition is key.
Repetition is key. Repetition is key. Should start a rap.
Oh, man. All right. So then another note for us to make is that in the Introduction to Mindfulness unit, you have 2 and 5-minute options for each audio. So this gives you even more sort of flexibility in how you use it. You can choose to start with the 2-minute version and then over time move up to the 5-minute version when you find that your students are having success. Or if you want, you can just jump right into the 5 minutes, knowing that it will be challenging for them at first, but that with practice and your support, you'll improve. So even kindergartners are able to do the 5 minutes.
We've seen it with our own eyes.
Exactly. And it just takes some support to get there. So you just won't expect them to be quiet and still for the entire practice. And think of it, what I like to do with my middle school students is almost like a challenge. So I would take down how much time they were quiet for that day. Like, oh, you guys were completely silent for 2 minutes. Awesome. Let's see if we can beat that tomorrow and get to 3 minutes.
And one thing that can work really well with the younger grades is that you get them to lay down on their stomachs and then they kind of bury their heads in their arms. And then they're so in their own little bubble that it just seems to work better.
Yeah.
So it's a good little tip.
Yeah. We call that one crocodile pose. So for teachers that teach in French immersion like us, in the early and middle years, often teachers will switch between the languages so that their students hear the audios in both languages to ensure a deeper understanding. So like we said in the beginning, the French and English versions of all the Educalm classroom content are exactly the same, just translated, so you can easily jump between languages. Like you said, you would do audio 1 in French and then in English the next day, right?
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but yes, that is how we did it. Yeah, just so that they would be able to really grasp the concept. Mm-hmm. It was better that way.
Yeah. So now that you've actually done the practice with your students, you've listened to those audios, all you had to do was press play. Now we're into the after phase. So this is the reflection phase. And this phase is really important and really helps to create a great classroom culture. So after listening—
And also to solidify the strategies that they're learning.
Yes. Absolutely. So after listening to the audio, it's a great idea to connect and reflect. So give students the opportunity to think about and share how the practice is supporting them and to reflect on which strategies they're learning that have been really helpful to them. This can also give you the chance to give your students support with strategies if they are struggling. So sometimes you'll have students, as you're asking them how the practice went, that said, oh, that was really boring, I didn't like that. Or they'll say, oh, I had a hard time sitting still. And then you can say, yeah, this is a difficult practice. And then you can have a discussion with your class about what are strategies we can use that help us to stay still for the whole time? Or, you know, what's something we can do that isn't distracting to others to be able to practice building our stamina in focusing for this whole time. So this way your students start seeing you really like as a supporter and as a coach rather than someone that's telling them like, stop talking, be quiet, or reprimanding them. You're there to support them. And I think that really helps with the buy-in as well.
And also this way they are having a conversation with each other instead of us always being the ones talking, right?
Yeah. A lot of times other students will kind of chime in and give their suggestions.
Yeah, this is what I do. Or
Exactly. So this reflect and connect time also helps to build a strong classroom community and gives you the chance to hear how your students are doing emotionally so that you can do your best to support them. We've had lots of teachers talk about how important this practice has been. The connect and reflect portion has helped them to see which students have came into class after having a really tough morning or was really struggling with something, and the day went smoother because they recognize, oh, this child needs some extra support, and they know how to support them because they've given them that chance to share how they're feeling.
And it's also a great opportunity to develop common vocabulary so that when the child is in a crisis situation, we have the vocabulary to have a conversation with them about it. That's a big one too.
Yeah. So this reflection can be done as a sharing circle or round robin, where each student gets to share what they experienced while listening to the audio. Or it can just be a discussion where students, raise their hand if they want to share, and those that don't raise their hand because they don't feel like sharing that day don't have to share. Or it can be done individually by using our student reflection booklets or a journal.
Also, this doesn't have to be every single day.
Mm-hmm. It's totally up to you to decide. You're the expert in your classroom. We give you this resource. We give you lots in this resource, and it's up to you to figure out what works best for your teaching style, for your group, and how to use kind of this large variety of resources that we give you. So, once you've had this reflection and students have had the chance to talk about just, how the practice went for them, or what they experienced, or what was challenging, or just what's going on in their life, then you can get into your day and start from a place where students are calm, you know how to support them, and everyone is just kind of feeling their best, ready to learn. Now, in the Introduction to Mindfulness unit, which is part of your free trial, as with all units in Educalm Classroom, here is what's all in there. You have audios. So this is the core practice. This is the most important part of our program. Pretty much everything else is optional, but the audios are what you really want to be doing with them every day. You're going to get a lesson plan. So in this lesson plan PDF, it gives you information on what's going to be covered in the audios and gives you ideas for how you can use the printables.
Or discussion questions.
Yes. For that connect and reflect part at the end, we give a variety of questions that you can use on those days that you're just like not feeling creative, or you don't know what to say. You can go into there as a bank of ideas.
Yeah. And the lesson plan, once you know how you're going to do this, you're not going to follow the lesson plan. It's just to give you extra little tips and ideas and things like that.
Yeah. I once asked a group at a school that everyone's using our program, I asked, you guys use the lesson plans? And most of them said they really paid attention to the lesson plans in the first couple units. And then after that, they would kind of skim them because they got used to the structure of how our units work, because they're all structured in the same way. So yeah, there's nothing that you actually have to teach from the lesson plan. It's just so you know what to expect in the unit. So in all the units, you're also going to get student booklets. So this is optional. In the student booklets, there's a page for each audio that can be used to connect what students are learning to the regular teaching curriculum, or as a way for students to reflect on what they learned in the audio. So lots of ways to integrate these student booklets into your language courses, into your health units, into lots of different areas of your regular teaching curriculum.
And there's more than one booklet for each unit, because there's a booklet for younger grades and older grades. And then sometimes we have some blank ones as well, so that if you want to come up with your own questions, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. We also have posters. This is another optional supporting resource. So posters can be used in lots of different ways. We hear lots of awesome ideas of teachers that kind of make them their own and use them in different ways. But the most common things that we hear is that they'll print them and put them up on in the classroom as a reminder for students of strategies that they've been learning.
On a calm corner.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll put it up on the projector or smartboard as a visual while they're doing the practice. Or they'll just use it kind of as a springboard for their discussion afterwards, or as a vocabulary review for additional language learners. So a lot of French immersion teachers like to use those posters to help the students develop the vocabulary that's in the audios. Now, in the Introduction to Mindfulness unit, there's also a My Calm Place activity. So this is also optional. This is an activity that students can do to represent their calm place. In each unit of Educalm Classroom, we have different supporting resources to help you integrate what students are learning in the audios with your regular teaching curriculum. So sometimes there's projects, activities, games, and
all kinds of fun things.
Yeah. This is where we got to be really creative and create fun things that we wanted to do in our own classrooms. So as a reminder, your free trial never expires. So you can continue using this resource forever. So because we are so very excited to share this new and improved Educalm Classroom resource with you, we have a giveaway going on right now. When you sign up for our free trial at educalm.com, you will be entered into a draw to win a full year membership to Educalm Classroom. So we are going to be doing this draw on February 15th, 2020. So if you have signed up for the free trial already, because you're one of the lucky people that heard about this free trial before we officially announced it, then don't worry, you've already been entered. So everyone that enters from the day that we launched our website to February 15th will be entered to win a full year, 12-month membership to Educalm Classroom.
So your exit ticket is to try Educalm Classroom for free. And you can do that by going to www.educalm.com, and that's EDUCALME, and you click on free trial. And that's it.
We are so excited for you to start this. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. We are here for you. And when you do sign up for the free trial, you will be getting some emails from us that give you some training and some additional information. So we will be there ready to respond if you have any questions to those emails.
Okay, have an awesome week and have fun exploring the free trial.
Bye.